Welcome back to the Friday 13th YouTube channel, Metalheads. Today I've got a fantastic album review for you. As we all know, Judas Priest have just released their new album, Invincible Shield, which is released on the 8th of March on Sony Records. This is one hell of an album, as we all know. Fantastic album all around. So check it out, Metalheads. As we all know, Judas Priest were formed back in 1969. The band have come a long way since their debut album, which is called Rock and Roll Out, which is a fantastic debut album of hard rock and blues. And this album was released in 1974. Now, the band have come a long way since that album. They've done some fantastic albums. And as we all know, they are the godfathers of heavy metal, alongside Black Sabbath. In the late 70s, the band introduced leather and studs. Now, this was something that the nation didn't expect, especially the Americans when the band toured a Rio Speedwagon. Now, we all know the cult classic lineup for Judas Priest was KK Down in England, Tipton on guitars, Rob Halford, the metal god on vocals, Ian Hill on bass, along with drummers Les Binks or Dave Holland. They were the cult classic lineup that did the most influential albums. And so we come to the album Invincible Shield. This was released on the 8th of March, a fantastic album released on Sony Music. This album would feature Rob Halford on vocals, Ian Hill on bass, Richard Falkland on guitars, Glenn Tipton on guitars, and Scott Travis on drums. Now, the album was produced by Andy Sneap and co-wrote, produced for one song was Tom Allen. He did Giants in the Sky. The overall production is fantastic, very clear. It's got the Andy Sneap production and stamp on this record. As we all know, this album has been released on various coloured vinyls. It also comes as a deluxe CD with 3 bonus songs. It also has an alternative CD on Amazon. I have to say that the artwork for this album is absolutely fantastic. Really, really good. If you see both album covers, as you'll see in this review, I've decided to put both album covers so you can check out the alternative artwork. And the artwork was done by Mark Wilkinson, fantastic artist. So now, folks, if you've not got the album, I'm going to give you a rundown of the song titles for this new album. We'd open up with Panic Attack. This would be followed by The Serpent and the King, Devil in Disguise, Gates of Hell, Crown of Thorns, Mars God is My Witness, Trial by Fire, Escape from Reality, Sons of Thunder, and the last song would be Giants in the Sky. Obviously, you've got the 3 bonus tracks in the deluxe, which are Fight for Your Life, Vicious Circle, and The Lodger. So that's the songs for this new album. Rob Halford, for a guy in his 70s, is absolutely fantastic. His vocals are really shining through. Very powerful, very screamy in places. This guy never lets down. He's an absolute phenomenal singer. That's why we call him the Metal God. Both Richie and Glenn have done some fantastic songwriting together. They've come up with some fantastic ideas. And this album really does come across between Painkiller, Redeemer of Souls, Firepower, and also Angel of Retribution. But it also features some classic Judas Priest tones. Also in this album, there's a little hint of Black Sabbath, which I'm going to talk to about very shortly. Now, the rhythm section by Scott and Uriah is fantastic. They're really working well together. Some fantastic bass lines and some brilliant drumming all around. I would also like to say that the mixing was done by Mark Griffins, who's done a fantastic job alongside Andy Sneap and Tom Allen. Now, in the early stages of the reports of this new album, there were concerns that this album would have a lot of progressive elements, which it doesn't really. Some places it does, but the opening track, Panic Attack, has a very progressive intro. I'm pretty sure this band are going to come on with this song live. It's a definite great opening song for a tour. As the song builds up with the guitar in and the full song comes on, this is a fantastic song. As you may know, they've released this as a promotional video. A really brutal, heavy song. Takes me back to the Painkiller era and also Redeemer of Souls. It's a very heavy song, very well structured. Rob's screaming like a bat out of hell, absolutely on top form. I'd love to see him play this live, and I'm looking forward to seeing him live in Leeds next week. The song is a fierce yet melodic song and really well composed. Check it out, Metalheads. If you've not seen the promotional video or heard the song, this is a great opening song. Next up is The Serpent and the King. Now, this is also just being released as a lyrical video on YouTube. This is a fantastic second song. It's a really heavy album in places, but like I said before, it does have classic Judas Priest tones. As I listen to The Serpent and the King, there's certain vocal harmonies that remind me of Rob Halford's band Halford. They released an album called Crucible. I think the chorus for this song is absolutely fantastic. Rob really does sing it well. The guitaring is fantastic, and the rhythm section by Scott and Ian is really powerful indeed. Next song is the title track, Invincible Shield. Now, they've just released this as a promotional video on YouTube, as you may know. This kind of reminds me of something from the Painkiller album, probably a cross between Metal Meltdown and Leather Rebel. It's a really structured, fantastic song. Some great guitar playing, really crisp production. Rob's screams on this song is absolutely phenomenal. He's really, really showing his power and strength on this song. Next song is Devil in Disguise. This is more like old classic Judas Priest. The song also reminds me of a German band called Mind Odyssey, who did an album called Keep on Turning. The song has a fantastic, strong structure, really well put together, beautifully balanced music, fantastic vocals, and really good lyrics. Brilliant song indeed. It's called Devil in Disguise. So if you like your old style Judas Priest, this is for the old schoolers. Now, the next song is a cult classic Judas Priest song as well. It's called Gates of Hell. This reminds me of Devil's Child from the album Screams for Vengeance. So if you like the Devil's Child, this is a brilliant song for you to check out. Next up is another commercial song for the album that's just been released on YouTube. It's called Crown of Thorns. This kind of reminds me of a heavier version of Angel from the album Angel of Retribution. Crown of Horns also dedicated to the metalheads out there. The band do respect the fans and love them very much. As God Is My Witness is the next song. Now, this is part 2 of Leather Rebel from the album Painkiller. Very well structured. Rob's vocals are fantastic. Some great guitar twists here and melody hooks. For a band that have been going for over 50 years, they've got to please the old school metalheads, but keep a fresh and modern style and sound. Next song is Trial by Fire, another song that's been released as a promotional video on YouTube. Now, Trial by Fire, the beginning of this kind of reminds me of Judas is Rising from the album Angel of Retribution. It's a very similar intro. It's a mid-tempo song, but it's got really catchy hooks. And as we all know, Rob is a fantastic lyricist. Next up is Escape from Reality. This is a little bit more of a laid-back song, very different from what Judas Priest would do. It kind of reminds me a little bit, like I said before, something that Halford would have recorded. Although it is Judas Priest, it's still a fantastic song with some great melody hooks, some great vocals, and all around a really catchy song. There's some great guitar solos on this album by Glenn and Richie. They really do trade off well together. It's got the old classic Judas Priest guitar solo vibe there. Next song, Giants in the Sky. This is the last song on the standard edition of the album. This is pretty much dedicated to the gods that have passed away, like Ronnie James Dio, Dimebag Darrell, and so many famous musicians. But it's a really, really good song, a fantastic closing song for the album. This song also has a hint of Black Sabbath. So if you're a fan of the Ozzy Osbourne era Black Sabbath, you're really going to love this. It's very doomy in places, fantastic guitaring all around, and in places it reminds me of the band Trouble from Chicago. Especially with the guitar solo, it sounds very much like Rick and Bruce from Trouble. Great song all around. Giants in the Sky is a fantastic closing song for the album. Now, the bonus tracks, like I said, Fight for Your Life, Vicious Circle, and Lodger are really good songs. The bonus songs are taken for what they are, but they are really well composed songs. The Lodge is kind of a weird song to finish the album, but it's really interesting to listen to. I'm going to give this album 5 out of 5. It's Judas Priest, they're shining through, they're writing some fantastic music, metalheads. The production is second to none. The songs all around have a great blend of classic Judas Priest with heavy Judas Priest. So all around metalheads, if you haven't bought this album already, please check it out. It's one of the best albums so far this year, alongside with Saxon's new album. Thanks for watching, metalheads. Support Judas Priest and go and see them live with Saxon and Uriah Heep. They're about to tour very shortly. Thanks for watching, metalheads. More reviews coming soon. Stay metal.